Okay. Good morning, world. How are we today? Look, this is just going to be a quick, probably like 5-minute video, because I was just reading a thing talking about how there had been, budget cuts that have resulted in a increase in the percentage of people waiting for category 1, 2 and 3 surgery in Victoria's public health system. And it made me question, well, how many people are on this waiting list, and what could be the causes of that. And we already talked the other day in the video about the fact that there's only like 4,500 students accepted into medical schools in Australia each year. It's really not enough given the growing population, which we've talked about. It's not just growing at a natural rate, based on births in this country. It's growing at an exponential rate due to flooding of immigrants into this country. Now, I just would like to point out that the healthcare system is obviously under greater pressure to tend to people's needs when we have a population in Australia that grows exponentially by flooding the country with immigrants every year. Okay? Now, again, this is not being racist. This is looking at facts of life. This is looking at reality. Okay? Black and white on paper. You cannot tell me that immigration does not also put a lot of pressure on the healthcare system. Okay? Now, there should not be a wait list of years, yes, years, in our country for people to have surgery that they need done. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Okay, and yeah, if you've got the scam artist health insurance, you'll get seen by a private hospital and a private surgeon sooner than you would through the public health system. But you have to pay a lot of money. Don't think that just because you've been paying private health insurance for the past, could be 10 years of your life, don't think that's going to cover squat when you need some sort of surgery done through a private hospital, or even through a public hospital, but using your private health insurance so you get things done quicker. No, you will have to pay through the nose still for those things. Look, we could sit around and talk all day about private health insurance. I've had it, and soon enough I realised what an absolute Ponzi scheme that is, what a scam it is. Those health insurance companies, you might get $20 back on your massage, okay, but you're paying $100 a week. You're not using, you're not gaining $100 a week in things back from them, okay. And it's just an absolute rip-off. You would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to see a cash back from them of $100. They go out of their way, these companies, to basically deny your eligibility for insurance claim, just like with house insurance, property insurance. How many times have we seen these sad stories through the news and whatnot of these people who lose everything in some sort of disaster, like bushfires or floods or whatever, only to find out that most of these companies, these Ponzi scheme, scam artist insurance companies, who people have been paying thousands of dollars to every year. They're not paying out anything to help you. A lot of things are not covered. And I believe that natural disasters or acts of God is not covered by a lot of these things, a lot of these companies. It's up to you whether or not you want to gamble on these companies and have insurance with them and whatnot. Maybe some people have better experiences through different companies. I just know that from my research and the company I went through, and at the end of the day, it's like the whole thing is just a rip-off, and it's almost like a social thing too, where it's like you look good to other people if you can be like pulling out your insurance card and be like, I've got insurance. Oh, do you take this insurance? Yeah. Oh, you're well to do, you're upper class, you've got health insurance. And if you don't, you look like a poor person. So I just wanted to, bring to light the fact that the public health system in Victoria especially, you're waiting years for particular surgeries, that they deem as not as life-threatening or not as important. It could be psychologically affecting you though. It could be like one man's story that I read, he's got all these growing big lumps on his arms and shoulders, and people are staring at him, and it makes him incredibly self-conscious and embarrassed, and he's living every day with that growing psychological trauma that's caused by feeling like socially excluded, or even isolating yourself because you don't want people to stare at you or point at you or treat you as though they might catch something off you. Okay, there is psychological effects that come from particular things too. It doesn't always have to be life-threatening, imminent death, on the table. But it's just appalling, the tens of thousands of people that are on a waiting list, even in just Victoria. It's like 60 or 70 or something like that, thousand odd people. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, we are not a third world country over here, and yet it's like people could, like, for whatever reason, really, people could die while just still waiting for their operation, their surgery, and it's just appalling. Even things to do with like dental surgery and stuff, how much that can affect your actual overall health and your life and your psychology and everything. But you'll be on that wait list for 5 years. Don't mind me, by the way, I'm really sick, so I look like crap, and Probably sound like crap. Anywho, you all have a good day, and I'll see you all in another video soon.